Ollie, be careful there, Rebel. Well, we have made it out to one of our favorite spots out here, north of Ludington. We're anchored off the beach in about 16 foot of water. We got a 7-to-1 scope out. We're not moving. We're anchored really well, so it was good practice this morning for the anchor. It is my daughter Sarah's birthday, so the bow is full of friends and the boat's full of friends and family, and we're just anchored off the beach and enjoying this beautiful day. We've all said to each other, boy, does this look a lot like the Bahamas, so now we're kind of getting excited to get back to the islands. Ollie's a little concerned. Will is overboard. But not quite concerned enough to jump in. He'd much rather go for a ride in the dinghy. We have dropped the cover for the tip of our mantis anchor on Mr. Furley, and Will is determined to get it back. We all know it's 11 feet down, but it might as well be 140 feet down.
Ooh, it is too.
And Ollie's helping.
Ollie's nervous. Did he get it?
Yes, sir.
Hold it up like the Stanley Cup, Will.
Got it.
Needs a bathroom break, so Will, Laura, and Kathy taking Ollie to shore.
Nice balls. That's our Christmas card right there. It's for you, Scott Wake. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Mark.
Good work, everybody. Good job. Tossing the bow line.
You see your dad watches?
Oh, he watches it all the time. He loves it. Hey, Dad.
Wait, he's watching?
Well, he watches their YouTube channel.
They have a YouTube channel?
Yes. Oh my gosh, look it up. I love it. It always pops up on my feed.
Sarah,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Thank you.
How did Ollie do, okay?
He did so good.
He did not.
No, he didn't. He did awful.
So, how did we do, girls?
We did so good.
How was your
It
birthday?
was perfect.
We just down here at the dock chilling.
We're gonna be viral.
We had a great. Are we gonna grill out?
We're gonna grill out hot dogs, brats.
How did the captain do?
Captain did perfect.
That's what we like to do.
Yes. Couldn't have been better.
How'd the first mate do?
No, she did good. She did great.
Yeah.
She sat there.
Laura and Kathy were down there making sandwiches and walking them up like stewardess.
Yeah, it was like
Let's go.
Right.
little finger sandwich, like
Yeah.
below deck, like little
Yeah.
finger sandwiches and fruit platter.
She looked good. That's all that matters.
She looked the part. That's
She
right.
looked the best.
Good morning. It's just about 2 months or so before we take off out of here to head south down the river with Dreamer. And we're just finishing up our to-do list and our maintenance list of everything to get going, everything we need to get done to get going. And the biggest one left to do is the cleaning of the engine room. The engine room's been cleaned a couple times since we've had our exhaust leak, but Kathy did it once. We ran down to Barrett's for the winter. They did it once. An exhaust soot leak is a bad thing for an engine room, so there's a lot to do. Also, when we go through it, we like to check every little bit of the engine as we go through. There's been a lot of people working on the engine and moving around down there, and who knows what could get disconnected or knocked a little off where it's supposed to be. So one of the annual maintenance items we do is to check all electrical connections. Now, when we got Andromeda, we went through every manual we found on board. We labeled them, we stored them all in one place, and we went through the recommended maintenance intervals in each manual and made a chart.
When we purchased Andromeda, we were a little overwhelmed with her size and more so with all of her complex systems. 2 engines, a generator, a water heater, HVAC units, 2 heads, etc., etc. At first it seemed daunting and like we would never understand how it all worked. We found every manual on board and went right to the recommended maintenance items and their recommended intervals in each manual. We categorized all those maintenance items from all those manuals into 50-hour, 100-hour, 250-hour, and annual maintenance intervals on an Excel spreadsheet. We do our best to follow those maintenance intervals, add notes and comments, and keep them in our maintenance logbook.
So as we went through all those, one of the ones in the Cummins manual or the Sea Ray manual was to check all electrical connections. So as we're going through the engine room and cleaning every nook and cranny, I check all the electrical connections that I see. There is no way you can go through the boat and check every connection. They're buried in the gunnels and behind the walls, but we're doing everything we can in the engine room as we work front to back to find anything that's loose or doesn't look right, add zip ties, cut off loose zip ties, tighten any screws, and that's what we're working on today. And that is sort of the last big item. Get new clean engine pads under the engines, just have everything kind of tidied up so we can see if there's any leaks or problems as we go along. So that's what we're working on today. I have been sitting on that old bucket there and just sort of scooting my way down the hallway here of the engine room, or the center companionway, and just sort of cleaning my way down the engine. Kathy's done some. You can see up on the ceiling they did a pretty good job cleaning, but there's still a few spots that need to get scrubbed down. One, we like our engine room clean, but also we can monitor any problems. Some of the little things that you find is sometimes these zip ties come loose, or there'd be one hanging for no reason, so I like to cut those off so they don't end up in the bilge. But it allows us, as we go through and clean, just to sort of check everything to make sure no wires are showing, everything's connected the way it should be. And that's just a really good way to then be able to come down in the engine room every day when you're underway and notice if there's a leak or anything out of place. So this is a good example of why it's good to kind of go through the engine room. This is the raw water hose for the starboard engine. There's the sea strainer. The water comes out of the ocean or the river or whatever, comes through this tube, goes down and goes under the engine. This is a piece of chafe guard. It's just a plastic chafe guard so that this water hose runs underneath the back of this piece of the transmission, and this doesn't move. There's the shaft. This piece doesn't move, but there's a piece of chafe guard here, and you can see it's kind of dented up and dinged up. From all of the activity in this room, this chafe guard had slid down. So this piece of the transmission was touching the hose. Didn't wear on it yet, hadn't been that long. But that's just a good example of why we like to go through the engine room and just look at all the hoses, look at all the nuts and all the connections, because something like this chafe guard could have turned into a big problem. Nobody's fault, it just slid down. Somebody probably stepped on it when they were climbing up and over the engine to get back to the manifold. But I happened to notice it, so I pushed the hose back, brought the chafe guard up, put a zip tie on it, and now at least we know that that's doing its job.
There is a time for boat work, and there is also a time to enjoy the good things in life, like good friends and live music in an incredible setting. Tonight we walked to a concert at the Waterfront Park right next to our marina. As the sun disappeared and twilight set in, the mist began to rise up off the big lake and created a magical and surreal experience as the SS Badger returned to port just as the concert was ending.
try number 3 for our engine room cleaning. Again, this is the second time we've done it. Well, it'd be the third time Kathy's done it. I'm helping with this one. And we also had Barrett's professionally clean it when we were down there. But with such a bad exhaust leak, we just keep finding corners of nooks and crannies that are just still coated with exhaust soot, and we just can't have that down there. So we're doing our best to clean it, go through the engine room. We think we found a little leak in our reverso. We did find a part of the ceiling insulation, the sound deadening that is coming down, so we're gonna use some foil tape and get that back into place. While Kathy's down there doing her thing, I am going to be installing a planing fin on the motor for Mr. Furley. When only one of us is in the dinghy, it comes up on plane real hard. So I've got a fin for the motor that's supposedly going to help it plane out quicker. So that's what I'm doing. So this is what we have for Mr. Furley. It's a high performance hydrofoil. I did put one on our old Furley, and it goes on the tail there to help us plane out a little faster. So I'm going to clean that up and install this onto the motor there, so when we're coming up out of a hole shot, especially with only one person on board, hopefully it'll plane the boat out a little faster. Is this the third time you've been cleaning the engine room since the soot?
Since the soot, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is 4.
And then we had Barrett professionally do it.
Mm-hmm.
And today, why do you have the foil tape out?
Because the roof over where the filter was on the starboard side, it's fallen, like coming apart. Whereas when I first did all the foil tape and redid it all, it was just, I don't say it was cosmetic, but it almost was mostly cosmetic in most areas just to get a fresh bead. This is like it's hanging. We're going to hopefully see if I can secure it up the back and get it strong enough. But it's thick foam tape, and like Bob said, it kind of like melted down. Not melted, but formed, warped to the, yeah, so we'll see. Otherwise we might have to try and glue it.
So I held the fin on the trim piece of the motor and marked it with 4 paint marks where the bolt holes lined up. Then I took the template that they had and matched all the drill holes from the fin, and they all line up, including the measurements to the edge of the plate on the engine. So I'm 90% confident that that's the hole placement. Of course, I absolutely despise the thought of drilling a hole in this and having it be wrong, but it lines up with the template and it lined up with the fin, so I'm going to drill away. There it is, all mounted up, all the hardware is tightened down. Got the screws in the bottom, rubber washers, and supposedly when it's just me and Ollie or just Kathy and Ollie, that fin will help us plane out quicker and keep the bow from riding up. So hope it works. One of the reasons we like to go through the engine room is stuff just like this. This is the sport engine raw water hose. There's the sea strainer, and it comes in, it goes underneath the engine, and you can see it's dangerously close to the shaft. This shaft spins. That's the shaft out to the propeller. So this part spins, and this thing is pretty close to it and held on with a zip strap. Now that must have been Orange Beach when we had our repairs done, and maybe that's how it gets put together. I don't know if this hose was formed and has lost its shape, but I don't like that. It can come over, and there's a piece of chafe guard down below that has slipped down. So I'm going to put a little hook back here that we can strap this to over there and hold it back away from the turning shaft. I have that pulled over. There's much more clearance there. I'm more comfortable with that. There's quite a distance there, but now there's a piece of chafe guard that has worked its way down and kind of probably been ignored or forgotten, that I'm going to slide back up to this position. I've got the chafe guard moved around. I've got quite a bit of distance between that freshwater hose and the shaft, so hopefully that's a better spot than it was. May not have been needed, but I feel better about it. Well, that's that. We've moved the port raw water hose where we like it. We think we've fixed the leak on our reverso, so we can put new pads under the engine to monitor for fresh leaks. Hopefully there aren't any. Kathy did an excellent job of cleaning and retaping the sound insulation on the ceiling. So we're going to do a little bit more cleaning in the engine room, do a little bit of touch-up paint and some of the dings and damages, so we can again monitor, clean engine room, and we're going to call it good. We got a lot more done than we thought we would do after work today, but it's too hot down in the engine room. Mr. Furley's tuned up with his new high-performance fin.
Test them out.
So we decided it's time for a dinghy ride, so that's what we're doing. I can't say it went up on plane much faster. It seemed like it did,
From my end.
but it seemed like it went faster top end, which is not what we were trying to achieve. And I think once we spread the weight out even in the boat, it got up on plane faster. So it definitely ran more stable, ran a little quicker. It's easier to turn or sharper to turn.
Just popped up. From my angle, I always sit up here. Sometimes it bogs and then it goes. It just popped right up on plane.
So it was probably worth it, but as you can see by the sun in the background, there's a rain cloud or something moving in. And over here you can see the flags have started blowing. So we're heading in. Cold.
It looks like
We would like to say a very special thank you to our Captain's Table patron, Tom M. And as always, a huge thank you to all our patrons. We couldn't do this without you.